Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Just one thing. Just one thing I wanted to clarify was, when we talk about, the FI report, the Financial Institution Global Report, and the corporate report, we're not saying we're targeting big corporate. It's targeting the corporate treasury.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So from their side of things, what are the issues facing those end clients? The lack of standardization of policies and uploading documentation, and tons of different banks asking them for different types of documentation. There's nothing standard. So what are the burdens for the end client? So it's not necessarily the big corporates that we're talking about. It's the corporate treasury.
Okay. Well, the treasury function within corporations, correct? So it's the financial, or no?
It's got the two surveys and the end clients. I mean, we can if it's helpful, we can send you a list of who was surveyed in terms of what their roles were and what the types of organizations that we surveyed.
Yeah, I think that would be great
for the financial one.
Yeah, no, I think that would be great because that will help me kind of synthesize and be able to include that. So. All right. Well, terrific. So yeah, I'll be looking at the content today. So because I'll be wrapping up this story and moving on to the next annual report story because we've got a pretty aggressive timeline. But anything you can send me would be greatly appreciated. I wanted to get with y'all also just to introduce myself and and for us to me and Marie to meet with you because I see this as the survey results are fascinating, and I see this as kind of an opportunity to do a number of things. The annual report just came up, and I thought there was an opportunity here to include the survey done in 2017 as part of that awareness campaign. Realizing it's a broad topic, but it is something that you have to put. But I think there'll be an opportunity as well to kind of help continue to evangelize the KYC, your efforts, and Marie and I will be looking at our publication schedule and see what makes sense. And I think hopefully there'll be an opportunity to include some healthy dose of content in one of our future publications.
That sounds good. Just so you're aware, one of our big themes of kind of macro theme campaigns for 2018 is the true cost of financial crime. So one of the things I've put into the budget, which hopefully gets approved tomorrow, is a survey for specifically around financial crime. So what are the costs? What are the results of financial crime? So, from a sort of slavery perspective, money laundering, it's going to bring in all those good themes.
Wow.
So obviously the KYC surveys that we did in H2 this year was specific for KYC and specific around onboarding and costs and things. But this is going to talk more to the not necessarily the heartstrings because it's still to do with money, but it will touch on things like human rights and slavery and that sort of thing.
Now that could be super fascinating because I think one of the themes that jumps out is like in David Craig's messaging is that people don't give it a serious thought. Like they think financial crime doesn't involve real people or real money. He says, it's just that, people are defrauding their insurance company. And they don't realize it's funding prostitution rings and drug trafficking, human slavery, and all this stuff. So something like that would be just super fascinating. And I assume you're probably going to work with like the Reuters graphic team or data visualization lab or one of those to really like make that. I'd recommend it make that pop.
Yeah, there's a separate initiative which was launched this year with David Craig and Martin Woods, the Financial Crime Poster Series. So Martin's taken a whole lot of Reuters images and put a message within that. What is the cost of financial crime? So it's like lots of images around slavery and organized crime.
Do you have some of that?
They're
do you have
powerful images.
Who could I ask for that? Would that be Kate Owen or Kate Reed, or do y'all have some of that, or?
With the financial crime posters?
Yeah, and kind of some information on that as well. That program.
Yeah, I've got copies of all the posters, although they've been asked to put a bit of a halt on it because it's not fitting within the brand guidelines. It's Martin Woods' initiative.
Okay.
And I'm working with Kate Owen now to put together the core message behind financial crime going into 2018.
Okay, great. Well, listen, I really appreciate you making the time. I'm sorry for the bobble with the getting started this morning, but now I really appreciate meeting you and learning more about this. If there's anything you can do towards, again, to recap, if we can get a customer quotes, if you have those available, that would be fantastic. We can get a list of who is involved from a TR employee standpoint in the KYC survey. I think that would be really helpful too. And then, like you said, the list of who you surveyed or just any materials you think might be helpful to have handy, that would be great.
I will send you that.
Yeah. Terrific.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Everyone take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.